I might cough in the background.
Good evening, everyone. I say everyone, only one person's joined so far, but I thought I may as well jump on now as I'm ready to do so. Seems silly just sat here waiting till 8. So yeah, that was two people. I've doubled my audience in a matter of seconds. Yeah, so I won't quite get into it just yet. I'll just wait for a few more people to join. Although to be fair, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I kind of say this every year now. I'm not quite sure what level of interest I'm going to get. I think last year was quite quiet, even though I was still able to prolong the Q&A for quite some time. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what attendance, well, virtual attendance I'm likely to get this year. So yeah, not quite ticked over to 8, but three people joined so far. Any questions you have, guys, be sure to fire them in. I will answer them. I'm sure I'll have time to answer them all. Yeah, just waiting for a few more people to join. For the people that have joined so far, thank you for joining me, and thank you for your support for the channel. It certainly doesn't go unnoticed. It has been a tough year on the channel this year, but I'm sure you would have seen. Chris has joined me. Hello, Pocket Rockets. Nice to see you. Yeah, it has been a difficult year in regards to views on the channel. Um, and I'm not the only creator that has struggled with views. I know like-minded people within my social circle, as it were, a kind of a YouTube family, so to speak, that have also struggled with views, and it is really difficult. I think we're at a point now where there's so many people. Merry Christmas to you as well, Steve. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for your support. We're at a point now where there's so much competition in more YouTube and social media in general has exploded in recent years, hasn't it? I think COVID was a big accelerator for that because people were at home, they didn't have anything to do, they picked up their camera or their smartphone and started doing bits and started projecting themselves online. So my point is that there is a lot more competition now than there was when I started. I've been doing YouTube for almost 10 years now. So when it comes to, yeah, no, it has been 10 years. Patsy just, my Mrs. Carb session just looked at me as if to say what? But yeah, I started doing YouTube in May 2016. So when it comes to May next year, I would have been doing this for 10 years. It doesn't feel like I've been doing it that long, I must confess.
Well, you haven't
Um,
you've aged well over 10 years.
No, well, you're too kind. But yeah, the landscape has changed a lot within that time, and there's definitely more influencers now than there was back when I started. And do I consider myself as an influencer? No, I do not. For me, an influencer is someone that there who is there for product placement, is influencing you to buy a product or a service or probably or something else, and I don't do that. I've been approached by companies in the past to review their products, and I could have easily done it for monetary gain and just taken a paycheck, but that isn't my style. If I feel that a certain review, or let's call it product placement, or collaboration, sponsorship, whatever you want to call it, if I feel it's not going to fit with my channel or indeed my audience, I won't do it. I don't want to try and shoehorn a product that isn't organic to Carb Session just for the sake of making a bit of money. That's not how I like to do things. And has that gone against me? It probably has because it has. There's been opportunities where I could have put a bit of money into the channel that I've turned down because, yeah, I want everything I do to be as organic as possible. I don't want it to feel forced or false. And if I do actually say yes to a product, I will be honest about it. For example, several years ago, I tested an aftermarket head-up display product. It was called Hudway. They're still going. So HUD as in head-up display Hudway. They sent me one of their products to try out, one of their units. And the idea is you're going to have a head-up display in any car, and the concept the idea of the concept, the idea of the product is a good one, but in practice, I found the product time consuming to set up. It was clunky. It definitely had room for improvement, and I filmed my video. This was going back years. I was still living in Sutton back then, so we're talking at least 6, 7 years ago. So yeah, a long time ago. I filmed the video, which was quite frustrating because, like I say, setting up the product and the device was fiddly. Sent it to Hudway, and they weren't happy. By the way, can you hear me? Okay, because I've just realised that I'm using the microphone on the laptop, which isn't always the best. So if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up or just let me know in the chat section. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I do have a DJI microphone, but for whatever reason, although the laptop will recognise it, the live stream won't. So I've actually got. I mean, a lot of YouTubers use these nowadays. I'm quite late to the party, but yeah, little DJI little wireless mic, very good value and a very good product. Bought it with my own money. Again, not product placement. Anything I recommend is normally paid for by yours truly. Yeah, but anyway, I sent the video to Hudway, and they said, "Oh well, we don't quite like it. Your video portrays that it's difficult to set up." I said, "Well, that's because it is. What I filmed and what I showed you was that's what happened. I'm not going to filter that or mask it." And yeah, in the end, I said, "Well, I'm not going to compromise my thoughts or my review just to shine your product in a better light." And lo and behold, that partnership ceased there and then, which is fine. I was fine with that. I would much rather keep my integrity and lose out on a bit of money than promote something that I don't believe in. Um, so yeah, back to my point. Yeah, it has been a difficult year. I'm sure you would have seen. Well, I was going to say there's been less car reviews this year, but they probably haven't. I've not reviewed as many cars this year as I have done previously, but there's still been a few car reviews hitting your screens. Um, Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I mean, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do reviews in the first place, is to help people make informed decisions when buying a car. And you've hit it on the head, JRDN underscore 44. I'm guessing your name's Jordan. I'm gonna take a punt there. Probably completely wrong. Or it didn't. Yeah, it's always rewarding and it does give you that warm glow inside, which sounds as corny as it is, but it's true. When you review a car, someone buys the car based on your review and they fall in love with it. That's fantastic. I mean, that for me is kind of the goal really. I want to review cars. I want to well, I did want to review cars as past tense, to help people make informed decisions when buying a car. Because buying a car or financing or leasing it, whatever, either way, it's a big commitment, isn't it? Even more so if you're financing it, because if you're tied into a 3, 4 year PCP, if you don't like the car, you're stuck with it, really. And that happened to me back in 2012. I financed a brand new Renault Clio. It was a dynamic TomTom, kind of middle of the range. It had sat nav, obviously, hence the TomTom name. It was quite a nice spec. It had a fabric and uh, faux leather seats. It had gunmetal alloys, which were 16-inch, if I recall correctly. It was a beautiful shade of black. It was, I think it was called Diamond Black, if I recall correctly. It was a nice car. I enjoyed the test drive, but I quickly became bored with the car because in and around town it was fine. It had enough power, but out on the open road it was gutless. It was a 1.2 naturally aspirated petrol, and when you're on the motorway and you wanted to go, oh look, there's a gap there, I can do a quick overtake. No such thing. Yeah, it was completely gutless. Pretty much every overtake on the motorway was like a military operation. It'd go right, okay, so there. they're going at that speed, they're going at that speed. Like, what's the wind speed? What's the head speed? What's the tail speed? How much of a gradient am I on? Yeah, it was actually quite tiring driving that car for a long distance because, yeah, on the motorway it was just gutless. UTV. Don't know what you mean. If I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's time we do a first car video series next year. Yeah, I mean that's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, Chris, and particularly as Top Dead Centre, I've been doing that recently. It's given me renewed motivation for that series. I do want to make that happen. The problem is my first car was a Mark II Fiat Punto, and there's so little of them left because a lot of them would have just rusted away or just been scrapped. So yeah, my trying to buy my first car is actually going to be tricky. Although I did actually spot the other day, I was looking just for a bit of banter after watching one of Top Dead Center's videos. I looked for a Fiat Punto. I actually found one which was almost the same spec as what I had. It was a silver SE. No, I can't remember what the trim level of my first Punto was, but regardless, the one I found was a 3-door, not a 5-door, because my first car was actually a 5-door. It was a 3-door. It had the same blue fabric interior, had the same dashboard, same switchgear, same cassette radio. I mean, this is how far back we're going. It had a cassette radio, and even when I bought the car, cassettes were a dying medium. But yeah, that is definitely something I want to do. I think it would be a lot of fun. Buy our first car, take it on a road trip or something, and just have some fun. And relive our youth. I know I'm still in my youth. Thank you. You don't have to say. But yeah, that is definitely something I want to do. I haven't really thought too much about what I want to do next year. The reason being is that really and truly, the YouTube channel will not be top priority for me. At some point, I will do a video talking about why I've come to the decision to slow things down. I did actually film a video earlier in the year, but I've got a strong feeling I'm going to watch it back and not be happy with it because it was. I remember I was driving around in the Audi RS6, and I feared, even by my standards, I feared the video became too waffly and I went on too many tangents. And if I'm saying that, yeah, that's definitely saying something. So I got a strong feeling I'm going to need to refilm the video to make it more concise and a bit more to the point.
You should get Amber involved more.
Yeah, I
She
mean,
loves it when you're outside doing stuff with cars.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be nice to get Amber on the channel a bit more. But yeah, I think it's very fair to say that I don't have the same drive or the same motivation or indeed the same energy that I used to for the channel. And I wouldn't say I've fallen out of love with it because I haven't, not completely. But it's just as time goes by, life moves on. As you get a bit older, your priorities, your focus, they change a bit, don't they? Your mind starts to uh, drift. I think it's a good word actually. Drift towards other things, and you're. I think as you get older, your viewpoint on certain things changes. And again, for me, the majority of new cars just don't interest me, and I don't want to be filming something that I'm not interested in. Because if I'm not interested in it, I think that it's difficult to pretend that I'm interested in it, and ultimately that's gonna come through. Um, Steve Burnham, it's all your fault. I bought an Audi S1 because you reviewed one, and it's made me enjoy driving again. Well, I mean, that is brilliant.
S1.
Yeah, S1.
Nice.
Yeah. You've got the seal of approval from Mrs. Car Obsession, but that's fantastic. I mean, the fact that you've enjoyed driving again, and I think particularly in the UK, I think it's quite difficult to enjoy driving because you've got the state of the roads, the driving standards in this country. I think is actually quite poor. You've got a speed camera every 100 yards, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to have fun driving in the UK. And I don't mean like speeding everywhere and just driving like an absolute yobbo, but I mean there are times where you want to when the time is right, when the road is right, just have a spirited drive. For example, the Evo Triangle in Wales. For those of you that don't know, it's now and has been for a few years. The whole thing has got average speed cameras, and you may go, "Oh well, that's good. It's going to help to reduce road deaths," but it just gets to the point where it feels like it's kind of becoming a nanny state. I'm not saying that road safety isn't important. Important. I'm not saying that at all. 'Cause of course it is. But on the same hand, it's just how can I put it? Just try not to be so molly coddling. Just let people just let their hair down a bit and have a bit of fun. Yes, okay. We do want to avoid accidents, but anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again. My point is that it's difficult to enjoy driving as much in the UK as you used to, let's say, 5, 10 years ago. And for me in particular, it's just the state of the roads and yeah, the the standards of driving, I think, are actually quite low in this country. Last year, I drove to Germany. I went to the Nurburgring, which I'm sure many of you would have seen, and the standard of driving on the continent is far superior to what it is here in Blighty. I actually kind of um, not dreaded, but I wasn't looking forward to coming back to the UK just for the sake of just having to deal with the utter numpties on the road, of which there are many. Yeah, lane discipline for one. Lane discipline in this country, and it's been talked about a lot, so I won't go on about it too much. But lane discipline in the UK is absolutely woeful. The amount of times middle lane hoggers, they're awful, and it's all good and well saying, "Oh yeah, well middle lane hoggers they get fined X, Y, and Z." Does it actually happen? I bet it doesn't. Um, yeah, I mean, what I like to do when I encounter a middle lane hogger, so I go in the slow lane, pull up behind them, close enough to make a point, but not close enough to be a danger if they suddenly break for whatever reason. Then go into the fast lane, overtake them, then go back into the middle lane, then pull over in the slow lane if applicable. You just think, yeah, lane discipline. One of my biggest bugbears when it comes to driving in the UK because it is rubbish. But anyway, tangent. Um, beer. Beer solves everything, but not when you're driving. Don't do that. No, don't drink and drive. That's foolish and very silly. Any questions, guys? Fire them in. I don't know how long I'm going to be going for tonight. Um, as I said towards the top, for some of you for some of you that joined me a bit late, I don't know what the interest is going to be like this time around. I know I said that last year, and I probably said that the year before that, and the year before that, but I enjoy. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I enjoy these Christmas Q and A's. I've always said that because it's a good chance for me to connect with you guys, have a bit of a waffle. And it's informal, casual, and we have a bit of fun along the way. And you can ask me questions.
Sorry.
That's right. Sorry, I'm a bit right. Excuse me. You can ask me questions, and yeah, it helps to connect us together in the community, the YouTube community. If there's anything you'd like to see on the channel next year, let me know. But just bear in mind that yeah, things are slowing down. They won't stop, but they will slow down. Uploads will be few and far between and quite sporadic. I will be drifting a bit more towards car cleaning and detailing. And I know for some of you that's not going to be of any interest, and you may think, well, okay, I'm out. That's fine. I mean, that's not a problem. If you don't like where the channel's going, that's completely fair. That's completely fair. But yeah, the days of me doing new car reviews, sadly, is over for many reasons that I will speak about in a separate video. But I mean, in a nutshell, it's just access to cars is becoming more difficult. I walk to work, therefore I don't. I during the week I barely drive. So
Unless I send you on Facebook Marketplace pickup runs.
yeah, but even then it's local. So for me to properly, can you just get up? That's really distracting.
I don't want to get up. I'm comfortable.
Yeah, but you've disrupted my flow, so you may as well.
Well, so will Ruby banging a helium balloon and getting high.
No, it's just fine.
Ruby cat. Come on.
Actually, I need to plug my laptop in. Come to think of it, I would do if let me just use this cable. Yeah. So, in a prolonged nutshell, no, don't take my. Actually, can you put mine in the oven or something? Yeah, thank you. So I've got a takeaway pizza, which is guessing a bit cold. Don't worry, I've had some of it, so don't feel bad. Oh, hello, move the whole laptop. Yeah, in a nutshell, access to cars is becoming increasingly difficult. I drive to work, so I'm not really testing the cars as such because they spend all week pretty much parked up. I have little interest in new cars. Um, um, D/4. Did I go with letters or numbers? But anyway, and another reason is just I want. s- I have quite little spare time, and I need to try and spread that evenly between family life and my own personal interests, cars. As some of you would have seen, I've got more involved in my car cleaning and detailing. And if it's a choice between spending what little time I have left, either either filming brand new cars or cleaning and detailing, I'm going to pick the cleaning and detailing, because that brings me more joy and also more satisfaction. That's a good word. Yeah, it brings me more satisfaction than it does filming the latest cash guy or whatever. So you will see more of a transition towards car cleaning and detailing, and some of you would have already spotted that because in recent months there's been more cleaning videos hitting the channel. I mean, historically, yeah, I've done cleaning videos here and there, but I'd like to think that this year alone, particularly more, I'd say the second part of the year, you've seen more of that kind of content hitting your screens. But if there's anything that if there is anything in particular you'd like to see, please do let me know.
We should get Amber to review cars
How she can't drive.
from a child's perspective.
I mean, that's gonna be. I mean, that's gonna be just about as coherent as when you do it.
Probably be better than when I do it.
By the way, guys, if you like this jumper, I'll just show you there. Of course, it's got an MX-5 on it. This was purchased from Carfectionery, not a paid thing to say. It's just Ricky at Carfectionery. He does some pretty cool designs. He does MX5 themed clothing and stickers and whatnot. But he also does a few other bits. And yeah, I know he's been struggling with the business this year, and also he's been struggling personally as well. So yeah, so please check out his stuff because I've got quite a lot of his range, and I do really like it. Yeah, I mean, you've hit the you've hit the nail on the head, Steve. They are more rewarding to make, because I enjoy it more, and also with the car cleaning video, particularly if you're testing a good product, you've got something to show at the end of it. It's a case of you start with a dirty car and now it's clean. I'm not saying that filming a brand new car and reviewing it isn't satisfying or isn't rewarding, but at the end of it there isn't as much to show from it, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head, but maybe it doesn't. But my point is, one of the things I love about cleaning a car is you start off with this dirty mucky canvas and then you turn it around, and then at the end it's almost showroom fresh. You think, I did that, that was me. And that's ultimately more rewarding than going, oh yeah, here's the new Kia Sportage. It's got a big boot, rear space is good, it's safe, it drives all right. Um, so yeah, so I will definitely be doing more cleaning stuff in the future. Why is this not charging? There's a plug for this. Why is the cable out and the plug isn't?
Plug's right there, you numpty.
When you're sat here, you can't see that.
You want a job done, get your wife to do it.
Well, why is it unplugged in the first place?
I don't know, I didn't use it.
Laptop charging. That's good. Yeah, Pocket Rockets. Yeah, I will be giving your VR6 a good clean and a polish for that matter, which I look forward to, because with it being a black car, a machine polish should transform that, but may take a bit of time because German paint is normally harder and therefore will take more time to correct and polish. But yeah, I do look forward to that, because you should be able to see a good transformation in machine polishing a black car. If it were silver, for example, you're not always going to get that say wow factor, and not unless the paint has faded or has become dull. So, one of the technicians I work with, Phil, he's got a Vauxhall Vectra. I know, but he's quite a Vauxhall guy. He's owned quite a few, and yeah, his Vauxhall Vectra, the paint was as flat as a pancake. It had no sheen, no shine. It was, I mean, you'd almost think that it had matte paint. That's how bad it was. But yeah, I gave it a polish a few weeks ago, and it looks, well, I would say it looked fantastic at the end of it. Ultimately, it's still a Vectra, so there's only so much you can do with a Vectra, but I gave it a fighting chance. Let's put it that way. No, it did look really good once I was done with it. I remember polishing the boot lid, and I think I did the right side first. I looked at the right side, and I looked at the left. So yeah, that's come on a nice way. So it's nice, and again, it's really satisfying, even more so with machine polishing, because you look at a car, you can see its potential, but you go, well, it's not living up to that. What can we do to transform it and make it better? So yeah, I mean, that's really rewarding. I next year I definitely want to do more machine polishing, but in regards to doing it, doing on other people's cars, I am charging for my time, and not everyone has the money to pay for a machine polish, which I get. But yeah, it's you're paying for the skill and the time, and also the products as well, because um, um, machine polish pads and compounds aren't cheap. The compounds aren't too bad, but polish pads, they are, in my opinion, quite pricey, but they are, invaluable. And if you look after them, they can last you a very long time. So they are definitely an investment, because if you've got the right kit, you can get the job done right and get it done well, ultimately. So yeah, no, I do look forward to putting a machine polish onto your VR6. Yeah, to see it transform should be good. I've got some new polish compounds I want to try out as well, so that'd be good. And some new polish pads, come to think of it. But yeah, just have a sip of beer.
Ruby, come here. Come say hello.
Oh,
Come say hello.
lovely. With detailing in mind, I share we can talk about that. Mitsubishi GTO,
Come
nice.
say hello.
So, I mean, that's a great question. I still don't know whether I got your name right. Is it Jordan, or am I just chatting rubbish? I mean, given your username, I think Jordan isn't a bad guess, but yeah, I mean that could mean something completely different. Anyway, I'm going off point. It is Jordan. There we go. What a good guess. So quite a lot of fading and swirling. So ideally, you always want to use the least aggressive method and products first. There's only so much clear coat a paint will have, and if you start burning through that, I mean, once you take it down, you can't top it back up. Not unless you're gonna have the car resprayed. Then if you're gonna have the car resprayed, then polishing it is a waste of time. So it it all depends how bad the swirling is. Um, it's difficult without seeing the car. I mean, if it's just fading and swirling, I think going for a heavy cut compound, like a real aggressive, abrasive compound, is going to be overkill. And also one thing I've just clocked on mind is that it's a Mitsubishi. Easy for you to say so. Therefore, it's Japanese, and more often than not, Japanese cars will have softer paint, not like the Germans that their paint is almost like granite. So with Japanese cars, you will find that using a heavy cut compound is overkill. If it were me, I would go for more of the medium cut with a medium pad. Because again, the not only is the compound important, but the pad to go with it. There's and sometimes it can take a bit of fine tuning and a bit of experimenting and a bit of finesse to work out which compound is going to work and which pad's going to work with the car. I'll bring you back to the Vectra. The I try to use the I can never pronounce it properly, but the Scholl S20, very popular one-step compound, been used by many, highly rated by many. I used it on Phil's Vectra with a medium cut pad, and it wasn't quite doing what I wanted. That being said, I didn't quite work the polish enough into the paint, so part of it was user error, which I'm happy to hold my hands up on. But then when I then swapped over to Koshemi, they're fine cut, and yeah, I mean I'm a big fan of that compound. I think it works really well, easy to use, and you get good results with it as well. Um, so yeah, so I would go with the medium cut compound, um, and go with the medium cut pad as well, and I think that would be plenty. Unless it's really bad, I wouldn't recommend going for a heavy cut, because yeah, Japanese paint is softer, and normally a little bit thinner as well. So yeah. Are you planning to do any more mods to the MX-5? I am, but it's just money ultimately. At some point, I do want to fit a 6-speed gearbox to it. It currently has the factory standard 5-speed. That's fine, Jordan. I mean, if you want to follow me on Instagram, Car Obsession UK, feel free to drop any questions that you may have about polishing, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Don't get me wrong, I haven't got the same experience as people that have been doing it for years and years, but I am picking up knowledge and experience here and there. No, yeah, I'd say where I am now in regards to knowledge and experience compared to this time last year. I mean, yeah, I've learnt so much this year. I've absorbed so much. So yeah, I definitely know more now than I did this time last year. But anyway, mods to the MX-5. Yes, so I want to fit a 6-speed gearbox from what would be the Mark 2.5 Sport that had the VVT engine. But with that, ideally, I need to fit the differential that goes with it. Yes, technically speaking, you can fit a 6-speed to my existing diff, but it's just gonna put the gear ratios out a little bit because the final drive isn't matched to that gearbox. So if I'm going to do it properly, which is what I want to do, I'd be wanting to get a newer differential. So I think I'd be looking at a Torsen Type 2, whereas I've got a Torsen Type 1 differential. Um, all of the suspension bushes need to be renewed because um, they're just knackered, and I can't adjust the wheel alignment because the camber bolts just spin in the bushes. So yeah, it needs all new bushes, all new camber bolts, but that is a big and costly job. So I do want it done because although the alignment at the moment is okay, having said that, I think we'll have hit a few curbs on racetracks. I think I think she's starting to pull to one side. So the alignment could do with being done, but it's not, it's not out by a long way. But yeah, I would like to change the alignment so I can go for a fast road setup, or I could tailor it to a track. So, okay, well, I'm doing Cadwell Park. What can I do with the alignment to optimize the handling around that particular circuit? But I can't do that at the moment because the alignment just it's not adjustable. So from what I worked out, yeah, that's going to be pushing over. Get another subframe, get it powder coated. Yeah, I could do, but it's the kind of thing where you go, oh, whilst I'm doing that, I could do this. Oh, actually, I could do that as well. And then before you know it, you look at spending a lot of money, and for the time being, I just want to get the chassis serviceable enough that I can change the alignment. Yes, I do want to look at powder coating the arms and everything, but it's just added faff, and also it would also mean that she would need to be somewhere at axle stands while the arms are being powder coated, and that isn't the most practical thing to do. So I haven't really got anywhere I can store the car just on axle stands. My garage is too small to do that realistically. I can't simply leave it on a ramp at work, because then the business is going to lose a ramp, and that's time they can't sell. So yeah, one of the technicians, he does have his own yard, his own unit. And I have spoken to him about possibly having Monique up at his yard just on that axle stands. But yeah, I mean that's a conversation that I need to have closer to the time when I'm actually financially prepared to get the work done, because I won't. That's one job I won't do myself, because all the old bolts are going to be cut out, and it's going to be far better if an actual professional does it. It's going to be more efficient, less mistakes will be made, it'll be quicker, and overall, it will be a better job. So I won't do it myself, and it's highly unlikely I'll film the process as well. So yeah, um, hmm. um, but what other mods to the MX-5 to Monique?
Would you change her lights?
What, to LEDs?
Yeah, not like silly. No offense if anyone's got this, but silly, flashy, rainbowy disco lights.
I
Would
don't
you
know.
change them?
I have thought about this quite a few times. The problem is, quite particularly for the headlights, quite a lot of the LED headlights for the MX-5s, they're all just crap Chinesium stuff,
Mm.
and I've
Okay, right.
I've heard very mixed reviews. Yeah, the rear LED ones are nice. See, I quite like the rear LED ones, but you don't. And also one of the problems with the rear LED,
My car though.
one of the issues I've read with the rear
Hi, Ray.
LEDs from Carbon Miata, for starters, they are, dare I say,
Oh.
eye-wateringly expensive. But the other thing is, despite their cost, from what I've read, they don't come with seals. Therefore, you've got a potential water ingress issue, which I think's crazy when you bear in mind how expensive these lights are, and they don't come with seals. I mean, come on. I mean, the seals would be pence to manufacture. So why not do it on the light units that are a few £100? I don't know, but I have thought about LED lights for the MX-5, particularly as the lights on her aren't that bright. Although she has got what at the time was a popular mod, is that you get the uprated halogen bulbs, and you get the what's the brand called? Ray Briggs. Hang on, I need to Google this.
What about the bonnet strut things like Mad Max had?
They look awful.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ray Briggs is the right brand. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I've already got uprated headlights for Monique. I use uprated in inverted commas because they are better, but they're still not fantastic. In regards to bonnet struts, no, because the thing with bonnet struts is you just spend your time having people go, "Your bonnet's open." It's like, no, it's not. Your bonnet, no, it's not. No. The amount of times people would tell me my bonnet was open when I had my Mad Max, it was tiresome. But that does lead me on to something, one mod that I've forgotten about. Depending on how things go in regards to heat management, or heat displacement, I suppose is a better phrase. Bonnet vents may be introduced at some point, but I have one more idea up my sleeve that I want to try. So
Sounds dangerous.
at the moment, the coolant line from the turbo goes back into the engine. So essentially, that all that hot coolant from the turbo is going back into the engine. and of course that's not very good for heat when you're just recirculating hot coolant. Granted, you've got the radiator, but anyway, my point is that I was speaking to Dan at Buffy Racing. Now, I've leaned on him quite a few times for information. And by the way, if you have an MX-5, I thoroughly recommend Buffy Racing. Great team, great products, good prices, very good service, and very good knowledge as well. So all the things you want from a part supplier, they have. Yeah, so I was speaking to him at the MX-5 National Rally, and we had the bonnet open on, was it his MX-5 or someone else's? But either way, I noticed that the turbo, the coolant line, was actually going into the radiator, not the engine. So instead of that hot coolant from the turbo being fed into the engine, it's actually being fed into the radiator where it can be cooled down before going back into the engine. So that should, in theory, be a very cost-effective repair or cost-effective mod, should I say, and hopefully it will save me from going down the road of bonnet vents because, yeah, bonnet vents is bonnet vents on certain cars look good, but I don't think they look good on MX-5s. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of bonnet vents on MX-5s, and I'd ideally try to avoid it where possible. But we'll see how we get on. See how we get on. Heat management isn't too much of an issue unless I'm on a racetrack and I'm going down quite a long straight or I'm really gunning it. So, for example, Snetterton, you've got two long straights where you're almost on the car's limit of speed. So you're putting quite a lot of strain on the engine. And also I found heating issues at but I don't think I can. I don't think the car would take a much bigger intercooler than what it's got. Don't forget, the Mark 1 MX-5 wasn't designed with an intercooler in mind because it wasn't turbocharged unless it was the limited edition 1.6 turbo, which was done by BBR GTI. Yeah, at Thruxton I had a few heating concerns, shall we say? But to be fair, I mean, between me and Yannick from Viking Detail, we were on it. I mean, yeah, which was even more amazing, bearing in mind I couldn't run the Nankang AR1s I had because they were too wide. So, so we relied heavily on the Michelin Pilot Sport 3s. And my word, did they stand up to brutal punishment? I mean, credit where credit's due. Those Pilot Sport 3s, they did commendably well to put up with the abuse that me and Yannick were putting through them. And I was pleasantly surprised. I think the Pilot Sport 3s are a great tyre anyway. I've been running it on the MX-5 for quite a long time. And sadly, I think we're getting to the point where the Pilot Sport 3 is quite an old compound. But because the MX-5 is running 15-inch alloys, and because not many cars nowadays have that small an alloy size, getting good tyres for that size is difficult. And you can't get a Pilot Sport 4 for that size, and you can't get a Pilot Sport 5 for a 15-inch rim. Are we on to the Pilot Sport 6 yet? Well, if we are, then you can't get that for a 15-inch rim and either. So yeah, I am getting to a point where I'm looking at alternative options for when the Pilot Sport 3 is eventually phased out. Yeah, I did almost buy some 651 accelerators earlier in the year, but I wanted to buy the 651 extras, and they didn't have my size at the time. And then it was Sod's Law that I think they came back in stock at Tyre Streets UK, Tyre Streets UK, a few weeks after I bought the Nankangs. But I'm very happy with the Nankangs. They are a fantastic tyre, and I still don't think I've reached the limit of what they can do, because yeah, I just think it needs a more accomplished driver to really find the limit of those tires than yours truly. But I mean, I'd say I gave the AR ones a good run for their money at Brands Hatch earlier in the year. Actually, the video from that will be coming at some point. That will definitely be next year now. But yeah, so I don't know how well the video will come up, but I did a challenge, much like Jeremy Clarkson, all the way back in days of old Top Gear. Do you guys remember when he had a Honda NSX at Laguna Seca, and he wanted to see if he could beat his time on Gran Turismo? I think back then it was Gran Turismo 3, but that's how far back we're going. So I copied that idea essentially, and I set a lap on Gran Turismo 7 at Brands Hatch Indy in an MX5, and then I tried to beat it in real life. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you how it panned out, otherwise you won't watch the video. And one thing I will say though was that for me it was a little bit tricky to make it as fair as possible. Now, when Clarkson drove the NSX, he drove a standard car, a stock car, both in the game and in real life. Well, as many of you will know, and it's been touched upon already, Monique is modified. So I had to modify my Gran Turismo car as closely as possible to the real life car to try and make it as fair as possible. That was a little bit tricky. But yeah, I don't know how well that video will come out, but I will try and bring it to your screens where possible. But yeah, no, I probably will try the accelerators at some point. But to be fair, I think it's going to be quite some time before I burn through the AR ones, and I haven't really got space in my garage to facilitate another set of tires. And I'd rather put the money elsewhere. But yeah, at some point, I probably will try the accelerators. But and the Pilot Sport 3s currently on Monique, despite being worked hard at Thruxton, they've still got plenty of meat left on them. That's one of the joys of the MX5, because they're such light cars. You can really punish them on a track day, and at the end of the day, your brakes and your tires haven't really suffered too much. Now, the brakes on Monique, they do get a bit more punishment because they're scrubbing off more speed because she's turbocharged. But yeah, either way, and even at Brands Hatch, the brakes barely moved in regard to wear. Although there's no real harsh braking points at Brands Hatch Indy, is there? I mean, a better test would probably be Bedford. Bedford's Autodrome's got some corners where there's really heavy braking. It really punishes the brakes and the tires for that point. 651s are more of a replacement for the PS3s. The 651s are semi-slick though, aren't they? Or am I getting that confused with one of the other accelerators? I thought the 651s were semi-slick. But okay, I mean that's good to know. Although it's difficult because I mean I always like to have premium tires in my car, and accelerators, let's make no bones about it, they are classed as budget tires. And don't get me wrong, I know the Nankang AR1s, they are technically budget tires as well, but I mean, I use them for track work. For me, it's slightly different. Yeah, I mean, the AR1 is in a different league. Fantastic tire. And as I said earlier, I think it's a compound that I've probably only really scratched the surface on them, or on their ability. Yeah, I mean, it would be quite interesting to see how much more I could get out of them at, well, Thruxton actually is probably a good example, because a Brands Hatch in Indy, this is not the most, in my opinion, it's not the most technical of circuits, is it? Where somewhere like Cadwell Park actually might be a good test for AR1s, or Snetterton, because you've got some quite fast corners in Snetterton. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Snetterton. I look forward to doing more track days next year. I have got my eye on Zandvoort. Zandvoort, is that how you pronounce it? On open track. That's in March. But ideally, I want to try and get the suspension bushes replaced before then. But I think it's going to be too much of a tall order. Dean has joined us. Any road trip ideas next year? No, but I'm definitely open to the idea. I would definitely do like to do a road trip at some point next year. It's just it's a little bit tricky because Amber's now at school and therefore you got school holidays. I have to be careful with how I use my annual leave for my day job because I only get so much annual leave. I need to make sure that I'm kind of spreading it out across the year and saving as much as possible for like half terms, summer holidays, that kind of thing. So, I mean, although I've done a certain section of it, I still want to do the NC 500. But I mean, you need a few days really to do it properly. You can't. Could you do it over the course of a weekend? You probably could, but you wouldn't really enjoy it because you wouldn't really be stopping anywhere. You'd be having to plow through, and yeah, you wouldn't be enjoying it because you'd just be trying to get around it as quickly as possible. And that's not how a road trip works for me. I don't think anyone should have a road trip in mind of, oh, we must do, we need to get around this really quickly. I think there should be time allowed to, really enjoy the moment, enjoy where you are, soak in what's around you. I think that's the beauty, the joy of a road trip. And so if you're rushing around it, going, oh, come on, no, we're behind. We need to be at point B next. You're not going to enjoy it as much, and it's just going to feel stressful. So yeah. When is the Audi R6 video coming out? That should be some point next week. So I've got the Hyundai Insta review, which should be going live this Sunday. I need to finish that. I've made fairly good progress on that. I was thinking about doing the Audi R6 for Christmas Day, like uploading it Christmas Day, but I don't think I will for two good reasons. I mean, who's watching YouTube on Christmas Day? I know there are some people that do that, but I think if I upload it on Christmas Day, it won't get any attention. Although I think, to be fair, I think as much as I don't want to put myself down or put the channel down, I think the video in general won't get much attention because the Audi RS6 is now, well, the current generation of RS6 is discontinued. Production stopped towards the end of summer, I think. And if you wanted to buy a brand new one from Audi UK, you could only buy it from whatever stock was left over. You couldn't spec one from factory. So for me, the interest in the car has kind of been and gone. And I told Audi UK this. I said, look, I want to review the Audi RS6. I want to go out with the bang, but just so you know, just to prepare you, I don't think the video will get much attention because historically, the majority of my Audi content hasn't really received a great amount of views. And bearing in mind the Audi R6 is coming to the end of its production, well, it has come to the end of its production. I don't think it's going to get much attention. I told Audi that. I said, look, really and truly, this is more for me than it is for the channel. And they were gracious enough to say yes to my request because I did feel like I was blagging it a bit. Part of me did feel like asking for an Audi R8, but I thought, no, don't push your luck. I mean, an RS6 is great. I mean, just don't overstep your mark. So yeah, that's why I went with the Audi RS6. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy fueling it though. I did spend a lot of money on fuel. In the time I had it, which was only a week, I spent I think £135 in fuel. Bearing in mind it came with a full tank. So yeah, just think on that. I've done the NC 500, did it in the S3 for 5 nights. It was amazing. However, I'm looking to do it again. I mean, I like that. Two very different ways of tackling that road trip. First, which is in an Audi S3, a hot hatchback, so you're going more for the driving enjoyment and really go around twist and turny bits and just enjoying it in a well sorted hot hatch. But then to go in a camper, you're almost flipping the road trip on its head because you're not going for speed or more the driving enjoyment. You're going more for the scenery and for the experience. So it's interesting because it's the same road, So same road trip, but a different state of mind, essentially.
Which camper though? That'll make or break it.
Well, VW.
No, but which one?
I don't know. He's not told me.
Oh. If it's a T1, then yes.
We had a T4 in the garage today.
No, I don't do T4s.
We actually refuse to work on T4 campers now. Because they're crap to work on and just getting parts of them as a ball ache.
If I ever come into enough money, I would get a little split screen.
I never quite understood the appeal of the T4. T4s are just a bit.
You got to have a splitty.
I'd love to go see the BMW and Porsche Museum too. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
I think Amber would like that.
Well, obviously they're in Germany though.
I would be extremely stressed that don't touch this. No, don't go near that. No, fingers off this. Because she loves to explore everything. She
does, but to be fair, she is really good at not touching cars. It really annoys me when you go to car shows and kids are touching cars and the parents don't say anything. That really annoys me. Even more so in the summer, because the children are like to have sun cream on them and therefore on their hands.
Or just had an ice cream.
I mean, yeah, touching a car with sun lotion on your hands. No. That's not good for the paintwork.
She is respectful. Like when we go to Goodwood, she's really good at going to cars and looking, but she won't touch.
Yeah, she is. She is really good. T6 or T6 camper, nice and modern.
Yeah,
T6 are nice. Yeah.
As long as it's not a T4 or a T5, then you're fine.
I'm gonna complete disregard. I'm gonna disregard the fact that he said he's got a Tesla. I'm gonna pretend he didn't say that.
What Tesla?
Yeah.
No, as in what Tesla?
No offense, Dean. I couldn't care what Tesla it is.
You're so anti-Tesla.
No, I'm anti-EV. It's not just Teslas. It's just I'm anti-EV. But he's also got a Defender, so it's all good. Yeah.
What hasn't he got? He's going to start reading off loads of cars.
I mean that's one extreme to the other. Tesla, Defender. I mean they're poles apart.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah. Dean, out of interest, have you rebadged your Tesla so it doesn't get vandalized? Because I've
What's the point of that? You're still not going to know it's a Tesla.
Some people don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's a big thing in America. And there are people in the UK that have been doing that. We've had one or two Teslas come into our workshop, and they've been disguised so they don't look like Teslas. Well, when I say they've been disguised, the badge has been disguised. Obviously, they haven't done a custom bodywork on it.
The only Tesla I like is one of the parents at where I work. They've got a Model X, and it's red satin wrapped. It's made it look slightly more. We actually have some nice cars nice parents have nice cars at my work. I told you about the EK9 that the parent had, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I would like to do more road trips next year. I'd like to go to Wales again because I haven't been to Wales for a long time, actually. Come to think of it.
Well, last time I went to Wales, wasn't it when we done the Fiat 500, the road trip for Dad?
No, we didn't go to Wales, you numpty.
Did we not?
We went to Scotland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we didn't go anywhere near Wales.
What did we do when we went to Wales then? I was with you for something.
I don't know. You weren't with me when I did the Fiat Seicento.
Oh no, I'm glad I wasn't for that.
Road trip. That was good fun. I enjoyed that.
My back wouldn't have. Definitely been to Wales with you for something.
I think it was in my first MX-5. No. Have you been to Wales with me? I'm not convinced you have. Anyway, we digress. Yeah, I would like to go to Wales again because it has been quite a long time since I last went there. So I was just reading Dean's latest comment. E92, yeah, nice. Yeah, I'd quite like to drive I'd love to drive an E46 M3 at some point. I've heard so many good things about them. I don't think I've sat in one, let alone driven one. But I would like to drive it an E46 M3. So yeah, I've heard that E46 are good, but very good in fact. I'm making slow progress on this beer, aren't I? Because I'm talking too much. By the time it's approaching 9 o'clock, on average, these normally go for about an hour and a half. But see how we're getting on. I'm still enjoying myself. There's still comments coming in, so yes, you're right, Dean. Yeah, Edwin's Green E46 is almost pornographic. Yeah, it's a very nice spec. Now, I really enjoyed Top Dead Center. Yeah, I just know I would be comfortable in saying that is my favorite YouTube channel now. Top Dead Center. Yeah, it's really good.
I like Ethan though. Ethan and
Oh yeah, no, all the gears.
that's it. All the gear.
All the gear is really good, but
Although it sounds like some dodgy.
but I just wish they did a bit more car content. I know the idea of the channel is it's adventures, it's exploring, and it is a good channel. It's just, yeah, I would like to see a little bit more car content on there. But yeah, their videos are so entertaining and they're just so like me. You think, how on earth have you thought of that idea? Yeah, but no, I do really like all the gear. Yeah, and that's a great thing. It's variety. I mean, there's what you can't say that all the gear doesn't give you variety because it certainly does. But yeah, no, my go-to channels are definitely Top Dead Center and all the gear. I do watch Auto Alex as well, but if I'm going to be honest, it's my least favorite out of the three. I still really enjoy Auto Alex, but yeah, if I had to put them in order, it would be TDC, ATG, then AA, i.e. Auto Alex. Yeah, I have seen a camper van. I was like, oh, I don't know what to make of it. And as Jack said, £5 is that a really good price or a really bad price? I mean, it was funny. It was really funny, but it was yeah. I mean, I made a comment somewhere along the lines of it's like someone took a Citroen Picasso, reversed it into a fiberglass factory, and there was some kind of horrible industrial accident. Um, I mean, you certainly wouldn't lose that in a car park as much as you'd probably want to lose it in a car park. And I was surprised when a woman passing by said she liked how it looked.
Didn't she even say she'd buy it? Was
Yeah.
it for sale? Yeah.
I mean, she must have been on her way to an eye test, presumably. I mean, anyone who's got the gift of vision would not look at it and go, "That's a good-looking
Well, I
car."
haven't got the gifts of vision. So.
Yeah, yeah. I was just reading your last comment, Dane. Yeah, I do think Alex has changed a little bit. Obviously, there's been some controversy with what Taylor said towards the start of the year. I know it's kind of been, was it towards the start of the year? Yeah, was it end of last year or start of this year? It was a bit, I think it was a bit of both, wasn't it? But yeah, and I mean, I know TDC they buy a lot of cars, but one thing that can get a little bit tiresome with Auto Addicts is that they just buy cars and cars and they just forget about them. And I know TDC they've also done that, but at least with TDC they'll do a good series out of it, do a good few videos, and there seems to be more of a purpose to it. Whereas with Auto Addicts, as much as yes, they do a series, it seems a little can't think of the word. It doesn't seem to have the same substance that the TDC stuff has. But that's a personal opinion. I mean, like I said, I still enjoy automatic stuff, but sometimes it just becomes a bit samey, where they're always buying Minis or BMWs or Land Rovers or Range Rovers. It's just a case of, can you just buy something a bit different? I know they do sometimes buy something a bit different, but it does feel kind of the phrase that's just come into my head is wash, rinse, repeat. I mean, Auto Alex does feel a little bit like that, in my humble opinion. But I mean, the channel is a success. You can't take that away from them. And the Auto Alex multiverse, if you want to call it that, which, by the way, I find a bit cringy, it is doing well. So yeah, fair play to them. They've been able to make a living out of it, which I think has to be. You have to take your hat off to them, because I think, particularly in this day and age, trying to make YouTube a full-time gig to the point where you can make money out of it, and in Alex's case, have staff, is that must be so difficult. And I certainly wouldn't want that pressure of not only being able to earn enough to live yourself, but then you're you've got dependents. The Auto Alex multiverse, he has staff that he has to make sure that are supported and paid. I mean, I wouldn't like that pressure. So again, I was just reading comments. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if TDC eventually leapfrogs Auto Alex in regards to subscribers, a subscriber base. It's certainly not impossible, and I personally think TDC would deserve that, because they make, for me at least, content that's more enjoyable. And I've got a lot of time for Edwin and Will. I've spoken to Will a few times, both on DMs and also in person, and yeah, I've always enjoyed Will's sense of humor, even when he was doing Overdrive, and Edwin, I've always enjoyed his humor as well. Night, darling.
No,
See you in the morning.
me or you?
It'd be me, because you didn't, because I didn't do today. Um,
Bye, everyone.
yeah, Pat's going to bed.
I'm getting old.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head, Chris. I think TDC is more relatable to car guys, and I really like the way how Will and Edwin bounce off each other. I really like the chemistry, and it's not to say that the Auto Alex guys don't have chemistry, because they do, but I don't know. I'm not going to say that the chemistry with Edwin and Will feels more authentic, because that's not what I'm trying to get at. It's difficult to put into words. It's I don't know. I just feel like the way how they bounce off each other, it's maybe a bit more relatable. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. So yeah, I think Chris, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Um, I find salvage videos more interesting, fixing modern cars. Um, yeah. So I'm guessing you're Steve. Are you a fan or not a fan of Matt Armstrong? I'm just trying to work out. So yeah, so judging by your comment, I'm guessing you enjoy creators such as Matt Armstrong or perhaps Tamarish in the States. I've watched a bit of Matt Armstrong. I don't watch that much of his stuff, purely because his videos are quite long, and for good reason, because there's a lot to condense. And I know from experience, when you've got, let's say, an 8-hour job you've done, it's really difficult to condense it into 15 or 30 minutes, and sometimes a video will need an hour. But the way how I see it is if you give it enough value, if you can make a video an hour and it deserves to be an hour long, then fair play, and people will watch it. TDC is now Auto Alex. Yeah, I mean, like Chris, Dean, I think if you've hit the nail on the head. Yeah, the Auto Alex has definitely changed as it's become bigger and more successful. Um, yeah, I, I don't I don't enjoy the channel quite as much as I used to, but I still do enjoy the channel. I think when Auto Alex, when he first went out and did his own thing, I think that initial year or so of his own channel, I think that was, peak content. But I think now it's just kind of lost its way, and it's yeah, as I said earlier, kind of like wash, rinse, repeat. Um, Whereas with the TDC stuff, yeah, like Chris said, it feels more relatable, and I like that. I really like the TDC stuff, and yeah, I've got a lot of time for the channel and them as people. If I'm going to be honest with you, but yeah, uh, I can't stand. You can't stand Matt Armstrong. Fair enough. Okie dokie. Fair play. Prefer salvage channel. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, like I said, I don't really watch much of I haven't listened to any of their podcasts. I'm not I'm not really the kind of person who listens to podcasts, if I'm going to be honest with you. And this is something I have thought about, because there are occasions where I do a longer drive and I think, oh, I wish I'd listened to a podcast, but quite often I like to get lost in music. Um, so it's difficult because you can't listen to music and a podcast at the same time. It doesn't work. Um, but yeah, I would like to perhaps listen to podcasts more. But yeah, I'm a big fan of music. So if I had a choice between the two, I'd always choose music. So yeah, but I'm sure their podcasts are fantastic. And I have been meaning to look in on their podcast because I know that I'll enjoy them. But yeah, I haven't always got the time, and really and truly, the time I do have for listening to a podcast would be on a longer drive. For example, pardon me, I went to Birmingham recently. I know, exotic. Well, I say Birmingham, it's on the outskirts of Birmingham, even more exotic. Um, yeah, I went up to Lichfield to do some valeting and detailing training with a company called AutoSmart International, which some of you may have heard of. And yeah, when I was driving up there, I was thinking, oh, this is perfect for a podcast. But I wanted to listen to music, so music won. Um, Yeah, so I was just reading another comment from Dean. Yeah, I should really get into the world of podcasts. Because I know Seen Through Glass does a podcast as well, Behind the Glass, which I'm sure I'll enjoy as well. Um, yeah, I get that, Dean. Yeah, it's and that's why some people like listening to the radio, because particularly if they're doing a morning commute, and when you got, morning radio and kind of drive time radio in the evening, there's a bit more talking than there is music, and some people like that. Um, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Tony is questionable. Yeah, yeah, I kind of agree with that. Um, but yeah, I get what you mean. It's like you're having a conversation with someone, even though you're not part of the conversation. But I get what you mean. Sometimes it's nice to having those voices just coming through into your cabin when you're by yourself. Um, right, guys, we are at, as near as makes no difference, 1 hour 15. I think we're now at a point where it's starting to wind down. Yeah, I've got my takeaway pizza that I need to eat, albeit cold, but cold pizza is just as good, isn't it? And look, I need to finish this beer. I mean, this beer has barely moved. I think the tide on the sea of Worthing Beaches has done more movement in this time than this pint has. I'll tell you that for nothing. Um, um, I mean, that is funny. Um, I mean, to be fair though, PDKs are very good. I've experienced a PDK, and I get the hype. PDKs are phenomenal, but I'm a manual guy. I would rather, where possible, I would have a manual. Have have I met Tony? No. I think I've been I think I'm sure I've been in a close proximity to Tony, but I've never spoken to him. I'm sure I was in kind of touching distance at Goodwood. Yeah, actually, I might actually have a photo somewhere on my phone. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm sure he was. I'm sure it was a Supercar Sunday at Goodwood many years ago. And I think he was there with Seeing Through Glass, obviously. Archie Hamilton. Was Supercars of London there? I don't know. There's no point in looking for the photo. I've got so many photos on my phone. We would be here until the end of time. Hello, uh, Tinu11. Um, I'm guessing the other 10 Tinus were taken. Um, but yeah, many would say that when it comes to a Cayman GT4, you're better off with the PDK than you are with the manual. One of the reasons is, for whatever reason, on the manual, the gear ratios are almost laughably long. So with the Porsche Cayman GT4, it's been reported. I haven't done it myself, although I have driven a Cayman GT4, but it was only a short drive. It's been said that you can hit 70, 80 miles per hour in second gear in a GT4, which I think is funny. Whereas if you go for the PDK, you don't have that problem, i.e., long gear ratios. But I would still have the manual. I mean, it's a sports car. Sports cars were made, in my opinion, for a manual gearbox. But that's a debate we could have until the end of time. But yeah, if a car has the option of a manual, I'd be taking it all day long. Don't get me wrong, autos are nice to have. For example, when I had my Audi A6, having that as an auto was really nice. I miss my Audi A6. That was such a good car, such a good wafter. Um, I don't regret selling it. Selling it was the right thing to do, but that doesn't mean that I don't miss it. And I do genuinely miss it. Out of all the cars I've sold, that's easily the one I miss the most, which is madness because it was a very rough around the edges, beaten up, high mileage wagon, but it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It drove like silk. It had enough performance. It had loads of space. Oh, such a good car. I wish I still had it, but I don't regret selling it. No, no, mate, we're driving slow around Sloane Street in London. Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong there. But I'd love to have a Cayman GT4. Um, yeah, which is weird because up until quite recently, I wasn't a Porsche person. I could take or leave a Porsche, whereas now I've got a kind of newfound respect for them. I miss my Rover 75. Why? So that was mean. I'm sorry, Dana. I've dissed your Tesla and I've dissed your Rover 75. I can only but apologise. Got it around 1,500 quid as mint condition with 31,000 on the clock. It was 23 years old. I am, all joking aside, I'm genuinely intrigued though, Dean. Why do you miss your Rover 75? Is a question I never thought I'd be asking on a live stream. Um, I'm sure you're going to make me feel really bad and go, "Oh, you got some real strong sentimental link to it. It was my dad's car, my granddad's car, and it got passed down to me." But yeah, of all cars to miss, a Rover 75 wouldn't have been on my 2025 bingo card. I'll tell you that for nothing. Yeah, I'm intrigued now. You've piqued my curiosity. Why do you miss a Rover 75? Just wait for Dean to respond. which is fine because it gives me a chance to make some form of progress on this beer that doesn't appear to be decreasing in volume. Oh, I tell you what, I must confess, well, I don't look forward to ending, so I'm enjoying this, but it's been a long week. I am pretty shattered. Um, yeah, it's been a tough week. It's been I wouldn't say it's been a tough month, but last 2 weeks in particular in my day job have just been a little bit difficult. Problem jobs, a few problem customers. Yeah, it's been wearing. I do feel like I've aged in the last 2 weeks. Right. Okay. My dad bought one. You see, I told you there's going to be a sentimental leak. I told you that you're going to make me feel bad about what I said. My dad bought one new when I was born, as they had is. I mean, a Vectra V6 is suitable for a family car, surely. Um, just felt like the good old days growing up in the early 2000s. I mean, fair play. That's as good as reason as any for missing a car. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've kept Leo, my Land Cooper, for as long as I have. Don't get me wrong, I often toy about with selling him, but I I I go through the same cycle. I think about how much I could get for selling him, and think about my potential options. Kind of dismiss all of them, and come back to go. No, I should just keep Leo. But one of the reasons why I have kept Leo is I think he's right in that sweet spot between having a car that is modern enough not to feel old, but isn't too modern to the point where it feels like it's going to break and just to be temperamental, nor is it too old where it feels like you're getting in something that's dated. So I think my Land Cupra is kind of the sweet spot between having something that's modern enough, but not too modern, but not too old or dated. I mean, don't get me wrong, mod cons such as the Android Auto doubled in touchscreen, they do make a difference. That definitely helped to transform the car in regards to bringing it more in line with, you know, 21st century, so to speak. That's what it was a poor man's Jaguar. Um, but yeah, there's various reasons why I've kept Leo. One of the main reasons really is because ultimately he isn't worth as much as I'd want for him. I don't know what it is, but the Saturn Land Cupra, particularly the Mark II, just isn't a desirable car. The majority of people would rather go for a Mark V Golf GTI, even though I would rather have the Land Cooper. And I did actually look at a Mark V Golf GTI many moons ago before I bought the Land Cooper. But the reason why I didn't go for the Golf GTI was because it just felt like the safe option. It felt uninspired as a choice, and it felt like it was a case of, well, the Golf GTI is a good all rounder. Let's just buy that. It's like, no, let's think outside the box and get something a bit different. I know ultimately my Land Cooper is essentially a Golf GTI underneath, but it's got a much more um, enticing body. Yes, the interior isn't quite as nice and it's a bit more plasticky and cheap, but it's faster, it's more powerful than a Golf GTI. I just think it's so much more interesting to look at. I'd say the exterior styling is definitely more divisive compared to the Golf GTI. The Golf GTI is just quite a safe looking car. And interestingly, when I first bought my Land Cooper, right, when I first bought Leo, I so at the time, Drive Tribe was a completely different entity to what it is now. Um, Back when I bought my Land Cupra, Drive Tribe was kind of a social media platform where you could post blogs and articles to. I had my own tribe on Drive Tribe, and it was called Hot Hatch Lovers. And I actually posted an article on my tribe, essentially with the tagline of "I just bought the ugliest hot hatch ever made, or I bought one of the most ugliest hot hatches. 'Cause when I first bought the Land Cooper, I thought it was quite an ugly car, um, and I thought its only good angle was its side profile, but even that I wasn't completely happy with. And it's interesting how your view or your taste towards a design changes over time. Because now, when I look Leo and look back, I think, "Ooh, that's a good looking car," which is mad because go back 5 years, I would have gone, "Ugh, it's a bit of a munter." It's funny how your taste changes over time. For example, I find that quite a lot with BMW's design. When I look at the E60 5 Series, no, I've got that wrong, haven't I? I'll get my model codes mixed up. Oh no, I was right. Go me. When the E60 5 Series came out all the way in the mid noughties, it had quite a controversial design. Whereas now I look at the E60 5 Series, I actually quite like the styling. Whereas at the time when it came out, I didn't. Also, when it comes to the latest generation of 3 Series and 4 Series, with those massive big nostrils that would give Fern Cotton a run for her money, um, like men, it's like, ugh. Whereas now, when I see that generation of 3 Series and 5 Series, I wouldn't go so far to say they're good looking, but I can accept the look now more than I did when it was first released. Although with some of BMW's much more recent designs, I don't think I could ever like that unless I became blind. Um, I had the Tribe car spotting. I was in London most weekends. Is car spotting in London still a thing? I get a sense it isn't because you've now got those in certain parts of London, you've got those cameras, haven't you, that can record exhaust noise. Um, I don't know. I've got a feeling that the whole car spotting scene is a bit dead in London now, isn't it? I could be wrong. I haven't lived in London for many years, and when I did live in London, I was on the outskirts. So I was in South London. Many would argue that where I lived wasn't really London, but no, I would say it was. Share my age here and how long I followed you. What happened to Oscar from Exhausted? Yeah, I actually spoke to Oscar fairly recently. I do speak with him on and off, and ultimately, he just, I think to put it simply, he just lost motivation. I think he had other irons in the fire, and for him, I think he was losing the passion for the project of his MX5. But from the brief conversation I had with him recently, by the sounds of it, I think he's going to have a bit of a resurgence next year. So I think he wants to get his MX5 done. I think his MX5 was called Ruby, if I recall correctly. I'm sure it's called Ruby, but I think he wants to get Ruby, if that is her name, um, back on the road and get it done. But yeah, I think for him it's very much been on the back burner, and he's kind of lost interest. But I must confess, I'm speaking for him. I may have said a few things that aren't correct, but no, I do speak to Oscar now and then because he's a great guy, and he's one person I don't want to lose contact with because I think it's funny in this day and age, isn't it? Because you've got so much social media, so many different ways to connect with people, yet I actually feel less connected with a lot of people in my life than I did, let's say, 10 years ago. Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, you've got all these ways to connect, yet I actually feel more disconnected. There are cost spotters, but it's not the same. I think the golden years are gone. Yeah, and I always think ultimately that also boils down to the fact that interesting supercars aren't really being made. Not to the same prominence that they were 10 years ago, let's say. I personally think the 2010s was probably the actually no, let's say 2005 to maybe 2020, that 15-year gap, in my opinion, is probably the golden years for cars. And I don't want to discredit a lot of cars that came out in the 90s, because the 90s was also responsible for a lot of great cars. But in regards to technical, put your teeth back in, technological advancement, I think 2005 ish to the end of the 2010s is probably the peak of cars, and I don't think we'll see that again. Um, although I have heard through the grapevine, um, oh hello Alex, nice for you to join us when I'm like getting ready to clock off. No, I'm only joking, Alex. You know I am. Car spotters are too scared to get the phones up of fear that they were stolen. Um, Yeah, but I think the golden age of cars has been and gone. Although I have heard rumours that the whole 2035 agenda, uh, well, I'm sure I saw on social media that the 2035 um, mandate has been changed, or something about it is, I don't know. Things you can't believe everything you read and hear on the internet, but I do think the motoring industry will come full circle. I think EVs are, for the majority, I think they're only here for a prolonged amount of time. I wouldn't say that they're a flash in the pan, because EVs have been out for a long time, and I think they're going to continue to be with us for a long time. But I think ultimately, I think car manufacturers will stop putting as much money into EV projects, and will come back to ICE. And I heard rumors again. Can't believe everything you read or hear. But I heard rumors, and I would like to think that these are probably well founded. That Porsche has been looking at ways to fit the Taycan with an internal combustion engine, and I would like to think that is that there's some truth in that. I could be wrong, um, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Let's put it that way, because um, yeah, I mean, the Taycans, they're just not selling, are they? Last year I saw a dealership that had cut the price of a Taycan by £45,000, just in a bid to shift it off their forecourt. So it wouldn't surprise me if companies such as Porsche were looking into something like that. And I'm sure there was another manufacturer, I can't think of who it was, but they'd put a certain amount of money into an EV project and just pull the plug, and we're coming back to ICE. I can't think of who it was. I want to say Volvo. I don't know why that's the first brand that's come to my head, but I'm probably completely wrong. Um, but I don't want to go on. I don't want to talk about EVs for too long, because I always end up talking about EVs for a prolonged amount of time on my live streams. You know my views on EVs, guys. So I don't really need to say much more. But I don't think EVs will have the same longevity as other cars. But like I say, a lot of you know my views on EVs, so I'm not going to bang that drum too much, because that drum is worn out. It needs to be reskinned. That's how worn out that drum is. But yeah, we're now 9:30 and still got a decent amount of attention. So thank you guys. But yeah, I will be looking to clock off soon, because I'm getting quite tired. I won't lie. This week has has worn me down. And B, I do need to make some more progress on my Hyundai Insta review, so I need to get that ready for Sunday. But yeah, so I was just reading your comment, Dean, about tax and EVs and so forth. Yeah, that beer's getting quite warm now. So I should really finish it before it becomes a waste. Wasted beer is not a good thing. Wasted beer is not good. Um, but yeah, thank you very much for joining me, guys. As you know, I really enjoy doing these Q and A's, and although the channel is winding down, I still want to keep this a regular fixture. So I still want to do this next year. Although, like I say, yeah, the channel will definitely see less action next year compared to this year. Um, but yeah, I do want to keep these Christmas Q and A's going because I do really enjoy them. And as I said, it's a way for me to connect with you, and for you to connect with me. Um, and it's also a great opportunity for me to waffle on and just chat mostly nonsense for an hour and a half, give or take. So yeah, good, good stuff. But yeah, if there's anything else you want to say, guys, any other questions, let me know. But yeah, I will be clocking off soon. And also, much as it's my time, it's your time as well, because I know some of you may have watched this whole entire thing. If you have, I commend your stamina. So yeah, so I'm sure you don't want to be watching me for too much longer because you've got things you want to do. You've got that last minute online Christmas shopping to do, or Christmas wrapping to do, or whatever it may be. And yeah, I hope you do have a wonderful Christmas, or whichever um, holiday you celebrate this year. It's easy to assume that everyone that's following me is watching me celebrates Christmas. Not everyone might celebrate Christmas, so happy holidays to everyone. Basically, a Christmas podcast. Yeah, it is a Christmas podcast, really, isn't it? And I really enjoy it. I do really enjoy doing it. And yeah, anyway, let's see if I can finish this before the end of the live stream. Probably not. Not as I down it, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, if you let's roll for another 10 minutes. That will take us to quarter to 10. Blimey, quarter to 10. Late for school night. Well, it's not school night, really, is it? But yeah, a weekday evening, I should say. Yeah, keep it rolling for another 10 minutes, and a Christmas miracle may happen. I might actually finish this beer. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. This is the same beer I started with over an hour and a half ago, and it is starting to get a bit tepid. But thankfully, the insulation on these windows is crap, and to my right hand side, you can't see that it's my windowsill, so it is actually slightly being kept cool by the draft coming in from the windows. I've got a chiller to my right hand side. Um, ooh. But yeah, any more questions, guys? Fire them in. But yeah, I will be going at quarter to 10 because it's getting late. I want to have a rest because talking almost non-stop for the best part of 2 hours, even for me, is difficult, especially after a day of work where I'm surprised I've been this coherent because my brain after this week it's frazzled, it's done for. The fact that I can string a sentence together I mean, that's almost as much of a miracle as me maybe finishing this beer. But yeah, it's been a long week at work. I'm really looking forward to my Christmas break. So my last working day is 24th, Christmas Eve. Then thankfully I'm off until the 5th of January. So you get a nice time off. And my word, have I flipping deserved it. Um, what do you think about Will's TDC McGann? Let's see. Um, I don't. I did watch the content, but I can't really remember too much of it. I th- I quite like that generation of McGann, and I think on a track they're probably absolutely mustard. Funny enough, many years ago, and quite foolishly because I couldn't really afford it. I probably didn't have the credit rating nor the deposit, but I was looking at buying that Generation Megane. Sorry, not buying, financing that Generation Megane a long time ago. I went to the Renault dealership in Coulsdon, for those of you that know that area, the one near the railway bridge, and I test drove it, and it is firm. It is. I don't think I'd want a Renault Megane RS for everyday driving, but for a track day, that's a completely different proposition. I think when it comes to track days, I don't think there's many hot hatches that could topple a Renault Megane RS, but for everyday usability, it's not the one I'd go for. But yeah, like I said, I test drove one a long time ago. What car did I have at the time? I'm trying to think what car I did have. That might have been when I had my Renault Clio that I spoke about earlier in the live Q&A. Possibly, I can't remember. This was a long time ago. This was when I was still living in that area. I've been living here in Worthing now for over 6 years now, which is nice. I like this area. If I had the money to move back to London, I wouldn't. As much as I like where I was born and raised, I don't think I could go back there, not now. It's a much nicer way of life around here. Yeah, it's quiet, and I do kind of miss the hustle and bustle of where I used to live. But on the same hand, I don't miss the traffic. What's your favourite new car of 2025? Are you referring to one that I've actually driven and reviewed, or just in general, or both? Let's go for. Let's tackle it from just favourite car in general. That's a difficult one because there's been very few new cars this year that have really made me like stand up and take attention. Let's just refresh my memory. Just new cars of 2025. What? See, that's how out of touch I am. I'm struggling to remember what new cars came out this year. Just looking at the list. Of course, it's a dreary list, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Yeah. See, this car did come to mind, but I couldn't work out whether or not it came out last year or this year. But yeah, I'd say BMW M2 CS. I haven't driven it, but that is one car I would like to drive. Did that come out? That didn't come out this year. No, it couldn't have done because one of our customers has got an M2 CS, and his car's definitely older than 2025. Am I chatting rubbish? Um, when did the M2 CS come out? Was it this year? Ah, beg my pardon. Sorry. The customer at my day job, he's got the previous M2 CS. Yes, of course he has. Silly Aaron. Yeah. So I was right. So yeah, my favorite car would have been the brand new M2 CS, but I haven't driven it, sadly. Um, in regards to the best car, my favorite car I've reviewed this year. I mean, it's not a new car from 2025, but it's probably has to be the Audi RS6. But let's take that out of the equation because that car wasn't launched this year. Pardon me. The thing is, without being rude, a lot of what I've reviewed this year hasn't really excited me, if I'm going to be completely honest. And that's part of the problem. I did the Cupra Terramar. Oh, actually, I would probably go with. Yeah, The brand new Cupra Formentor. Yeah, that's what I'd go with. I mean, I was a big fan of the pre-facelift Formentor, and I'm a big fan of the current generation. What's the facelift Formentor? I think if I was on the lookout for a family car, if I had the money, and if I was looking for something to replace Leo, the Formentor is probably what I'd go for, in all honesty. But I haven't got that kind of money. Um, and as much as it would be nice to have a slightly larger car than Leo, for most things, he's absolutely fine. So, yeah, another reason why I've kept him. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Um, to be fair, the new Dacia Duster does look quite cool. That's a sentence I never thought I'd hear myself say. But joking aside, Dacia in recent times, they've really stepped up their exterior design. I remember driving what would have been the first generation Dacia Duster all the way back in 2016. And it was, I mean, it's one of those cars that you knew it was cheap, but as soon as you stepped inside, it's like, yeah, I know why this car's cheap because it's got as much luxuries as a Turkish prison. I don't know why Turkish was the first nationality that came to my head, by the way. I don't know. But yeah, my point is, it had very little in the way of luxuries. Um, but now, I mean, I haven't driven a Dacia, a brand new Dacia, in a long time. By the way, I don't know why I said Turkish prison. I think I was trying to make more of a point that their prisons would have even less luxuries than. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, the newer Dacias, they do look quite funky. Mm. Right, time for one more question. One more. So whoever it is, make it a good one because I've got this beer to finish and it has hit 9:45. And like I said, I'm getting quite tired now. And this beer is definitely there's definitely room temperature now. Yeah. It's not quite as enjoyable as it was. Right. What's gonna happen first? 9:46 or it's just hit 9:46. Well, there goes that bang goes that. Mm. Right. You've got until I finish that remainder of beer to ask me a question. Once this is down, that's it. Live stream over. Ah, you're too slow. All joking aside, guys, thank you so much for joining me. You know how much I enjoy doing these, and I appreciate your time because I know at this time of year people become very busy, and the thought of sitting down for almost 2 hours and listening to one guy waffle on by himself is probably not the most desirable thing in the world. So I thank you. And thank you for your support, both for now and going into next year. I wish you all a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. Let's cover all bases. And I hope you all have a very happy new year. Um, that's it. That's all I've got to say. I think I've said plenty this evening. And where's the. There we go. There we go. Yeah, thank you very much, guys, for your support. And I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope you guys aren't working too much over the Christmas period because it can be a little bit wearing when you've worked your fingers to the bone all year. Christmas comes around and you spend most of it working. You think, hang on a minute, where's the justice? And believe me, I've worked in jobs previously where I've worked the majority of the Christmas period. So if you're in that boat, I feel your pain. I've been there, done that, and got the proverbial T-shirt. But anyway, my point is, whatever time off you have, enjoy it, spend it with your families, really make the most of it because before you know it, it'll be January, it'll be miserable, you'll have no money, and yeah, you'll be back at work. But until the next time, can't get my words out now. Until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.